Former U.S. Assistant Secretary of State for East Asians and Pacific Affairs, Daniel Russel. Very good to have you on our program today. Just first, how do you assess what we witnessed over the past several hours in Seoul?
Well, it's absolutely shocking, although it's a huge relief that the crisis ended peacefully with all the troops back in the barracks and no casualties among the demonstrators. I mean, I think one takeaway is the strength of and resilience of Korea's democratic institutions and its civil societies. But the nation of South Korea may have dodged a bullet, but I'm afraid that President Yoon may have shot himself in the foot.
Tell us more about what you think was behind President Yoon's decision, because we mentioned he described North Korean communist forces and blamed his country's political opposition. I mean, what exactly is he saying?
Well, I thought that the reference to the threat from North Korean, pro-North Korean activists, the communist forces, forcing him to take this decision in the martial law decree was pretty far-fetched, but you can be awfully certain that now North Korea is in fact licking its chops, that it's going to take advantage of any and all political instability and turmoil in the South. As far as his motives, it's hard to say. Could he have imagined that this would be a catalyst? He'd been suffering from not just low support rates among the public, but absolute gridlock, a scorched earth policy by the opposition in the legislature, and was unable to get the budget passed, was unable to get anywhere, and facing one impeachment initiative against him and against many people in his administration after another. Now, of course, impeachment looks like a much more realistic, if not inevitable, next step.
What do you think this tells us about South Korea's politics right now? As you said, it appears that the current constellation of government has led to a complete impasse.
Well, yes, it certainly tells us that there's a vicious polarization within the Korean political community, and that they have been utterly unable to find any common ground or to reconcile differences. I think all democracies need to take a lesson from that and remind themselves that at the essence of democracy is compromise and common purpose in support of the interests of the whole country. But by the same token, as I said, the fact is that Korean institutions held firm. They work, they're strong. And the fact that the National Assembly, the legislature, unanimously rejected the martial law decree, and the fact that the troops maintained restraint and ultimately went back to barracks, and the fact that the president acceded to the judgment that he had exceeded his authority and is now in the process of organizing the cabinet to repeal the martial law decree, is a sign of healthy political institution.
Daniel, we just have about 30 seconds left, but what do you see happening next? You mentioned you see an impeachment as very likely.
Yeah, I think unfortunately we should expect political turbulence and more demonstrations as Korea wrestles with either an impeachment or conceivably President Yoon stepping down. This presents serious challenges for the United States, since we've got a lot riding on our alliance with Seoul, and political stability is something that we really need. If he steps down or is impeached, then there's an interim period followed by snap elections, and they're off to the races. We've seen this movie before in the Park administration.
Right. Okay, we have to leave it there for today, but Daniel, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.